Hello, and welcome back to Games Embassy with the Ambassadors of Gaming. I'm one of your two hosts, Ambassador Chris.
And I am Ambassador Michael.
And we have news about stuff. Mike, how are you today?
I am alright. I kind of have a headache a little bit, but otherwise I'm good.
Yeah, I have 2 exams tomorrow.
Sounds fun.
2 exams. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm pretty well studied for one of them, and I'm about to be well studied for the other one, but still,
well, that's good.
Don't want to do it. Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I have like 4 videos I need to do and this podcast edit. And that still needs to be done. Yeah. And then I start this contract on Monday. So, it's going to be a busy week.
Fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of videos, I'm actually working on the Patreon video for this month, which leads me into my plug very nicely. We have a Patreon. It supports this show. Please, for the love of God. Either support the show by watching it, or, if you want to give us a buck here or there, you can get some cool stuff on Patreon. That's more or less it.
Mike
that's
needs shoes.
I would like to live, please. Please. Help contribute to my existence.
Okay, so let's start out with some updates. Mike, please.
Oh boy, No Man's Sky's back. No Man's Sky is getting another big update titled No Man's Sky Beyond. Through a blog post, Hello Games' Sean Murray stated, quote, "Earlier this year, whilst working on our roadmap of 3 future updates, we decided we wanted to interweave their features and had a vision for something much more impactful. We are excited to announce that Beyond will contain those 3 major updates rolled into one larger free release. The first component of Beyond we are announcing today is No Man's Sky Online. Hello Games does want you to know, though, that, quote, we don't consider No Man's Sky Online to be an MMO, end quote. The update will be free and contain 2 more major updates, which will be announced at a later date.
All right. Halo the Master Chief Collection is coming to PC, and they're adding Reach, Halo Reach. So one of the best Halos, if not, I love Reach. The gameplay of Reach is solid. The obnoxious and crazy hijinks you can get into in the Forge mode is really hilarious. Like getting cars zooming past at like hundreds of miles an hour and trying to like cross a path of a bunch of flaming vehicle parts. So it's coming to PC through the Microsoft Store and Steam. The game should be running at 60 frames per second and support 4K. It's also important to note, and I was thinking about this when I first heard about this, not too long ago. Halo Reach is being the Halo Reach multiplayer is being added free to people who already own the Master Chief Collection on Xbox, but the campaign will be an additional charge if you really want that. And also, just in case you didn't know, the Master Chief Collection is on Game Pass now. However, something really interesting, the games will be rolling out one at a time on PC through the Master Chief Collection, starting with Halo Reach and then moving on in chronological order from there. So what I'm assuming that means is that we're going to get the Anniversary remake, the Halo 2 Anniversary remake, then after Reach, and then Halo 3, and then Halo 4, and Halo 5 isn't on the Master Chief Collection.
Right. ODST is in between 3 and 4, right? And ODST isn't in Master Chief Collection, or is?
No, I don't think so. But I'm not sure, actually. I don't know. ODST, though, it's important to know, ODST is just a campaign. When you buy ODST, it comes with 2 discs. It comes with the story mode for ODST and then Halo 3's online multiplayer. So for all I know, there might be, how Reach is how the Reach story mode is an add-on. Maybe the ODST storyline is as well. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But we assume that these games are rolling out in this way to avoid the shitstorm that was the original release of the Master Chief Collection. If you are unaware, if you're a PC gamer or you just never owned the game, the Master Chief Collection was somewhere along the lines of Mass Effect Andromeda. but and eventually it got to the point they really just had to remake it. Like they tried to update it and it just didn't work. So then they basically said, okay, we're not going to update it for like a year, and they basically just remade it, and now it works pretty good. So we assume this is why this issue is why it's going this way. But next update.
Right. Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 are headed to PS4. Weekly Famitsu magazine has stated that Yakuza 3 will arrive this August, Yakuza 4 should arrive in the fall of this year, and Yakuza 5 should arrive in spring of 2019. We assume that those Japanese releases will make their way to America as well, since they already have English dubbing. So,
good stuff. Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2 Lite is coming to the PS4. According to leaks of Japanese magazines, we should be seeing a light version of DBZ Xenoverse 2 arriving on Japanese PS4 soon. The light mode reportedly will have the beginning of the story mode, parallel quests, raid mode, online mode, and minigame Hero Coliseum. Saves should transfer should players choose to purchase the full game at a later date. The light mode is said to launch on March 20th in Japan. PlayStation Blog has since announced that Xenoverse 2 Lite will launch on PS4 in the West on March 19th. So the photo mode update should be coming on that same day as well.
This is an interesting move because I've kept an eye on Xenoverse 2 and its price is pretty cheap already. Like, it's already a pretty cheap game. So I don't know what more you need to entice people, I guess, besides a demo. So, interesting. Speaking of more demos, Dead or Alive 6's free mode has been released. Dead or Alive 6 Core Fighters has been released and features most of the game except for the story mode. There are, however, only 4 playable characters out of the available 26. Everything may be purchased individually if one so chooses, but you would be most likely better off to just purchase the full game, considering the prices. Dead or Alive 6 has also been making the rounds for its $93 season pass.
Jeez. How much is the game itself?
$60. I can't remember what comes in the season pass, but it's mostly cosmetics. And Dead or Alive 5 had $1,000 worth of cosmetic DLC, is what they priced it at. Yeah.
Jeez. A while back, I read somewhere that aside from inflation and everything, games have been, for the base game, games have been relatively the same price for a long time, like $60 around. And people, I guess the thought was that people wouldn't be willing to pay any more for a video game. And if we've shown anything from people willing to buy these obnoxiously priced season passes, and I'm not an idiot, I know that these game developers need money. Like, the games that they make are not cheap. With Destiny 1, I'm pretty sure having the most expensive game ever developed at $500 million.
Yeah. That game took an asinine amount of time and money to make.
Yeah, it was in development for like 7 or 8 years.
They also restarted, though, and that probably is what cost them a lot of money, too, is switching over to that new engine or whatever it was.
Their own proprietary engine that they made.
Right, and even then it was buggy as hell. So, yeah, I mean, I get it, but at the same point, like, Jim Sterling made a great video a while back about, he calls it the $60 myth. Most AAA games don't launch for $60 anymore. They almost always come with season passes, microtransactions, DLC, stuff like that. So, that's where they supplement their money. Shit, Activision makes billions of dollars in profit every year from microtransactions. They make more off of microtransactions than they do their games.
I would like to point out, Anthem's like $85 edition was not even worth it.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing.
At all.
Because it just came with some
gave you
coins or whatever the currency is, right?
They gave you a little bit of the currency. They gave you an armor set, and armor's all cosmetic. So, I mean, I guess if and then a gun that instantly gets bad once you get like halfway through the game. So it was not worth it. Bummer. Yeah, so
it's mostly just a reskinned case.
Yeah, Destiny 2 tried to pull that same crap. You'll get this ghost shell, and then in Destiny 2, you go in, they're selling that ghost shell for like not even 10 pieces of in-game currency. It was like, really? And I paid like an extra $15-20 for this? Really? Okay, so moving on to some news. So Sega has stopped the sale of Judgement in Japan due to a cocaine arrest. Actor Pierre Taki, who voices one of the Yakuza in Judgement, has been arrested for suspected illegal drug use. Taki did perform a urine test and it did return positive for cocaine. Sega has stopped all sales of the game in Japan physically and digitally, even going so far as to delete tweets from their Twitter account regarding the game to dissociate themselves. Japan has very strict laws on the perception of drug use alone, and has caused actors to be replaced, retire, and sometimes even leave the entertainment industry altogether.
Yeah, this one's a bigger sort of deal, and the reason why it's big in terms of news for us, and the reason why I included it in here is we talk about Japan's cultural differences to us a lot, and this is the perfect example of it. In America, we're used to high-profile people taking illegal substances. That's just something that's like commonly associated with that. Pretty much, it's like, well, you got all that money, what are you gonna spend it on? Anyways,
drugs.
The reason why it affects us so much here is because Judgment hasn't been released yet in the West. It's not supposed to come out until June. So them pulling it from the shelves in Japan, we don't really know because I didn't elaborate on it here, but in a lot of the articles you'll see is that in Japan, they judge you just as much for associating with somebody who's on drugs and profiting off of them as they do for the person for taking them in the first place, or even being suspected of taking them in the first place. So it's a very honor-based thing where they're like, well, you know, you get negative press basically if you're seen as profiting off of this person's drug use. So I don't really know how that'll affect this game, because I'm assuming it's still going to come out here in America because they've already done the work. They've already, done all the dubbing and stuff like that. But they're probably going to let it cool down for a bit before they put it back out in America, or they might just redo it completely with the voice lines. They did that with another one of the Yakuza actors in 4, apparently. Or it was either 4 or 5. Whatever, they remastered or re-released one of them, and when they re-released it, they changed the voice actor because the voice actor previously had drug use claims against him. So I don't know. It's a sticky situation, but it is a good example of the cultural differences, and that's why I really wanted to throw it in here. I'm assuming you don't have any hot takes on this?
No, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just, like you said, cultural differences. They don't want to be associated with anyone who has drug allegations against them.
Yeah. And like I said, you see that in movies and with music as well in Japan. So I did a bit of research so I understood better as to exactly why that was the case. Anyways, let's move on to some spicy news. Those Sony Take-Two rumors may not actually be true. Earlier this week, an analysis had spoke regarding a possible buyout of Take-Two, owner of 2K Games and Rockstar Studios. However, it seems that they may have been misquoted, and additionally, a Sony spokesman told a Bloomberg reporter that there was, quote, no truth, end quote, in the rumor of the buyout. So yeah, this circulated off of Market Analyst or Stock or something. I don't know. I saw the original article that it came from, and I was like, well, that seems kind of just like off the cuff. You know what I mean? So
yeah, well, I mean, fake news gets put around. It's just how it is, and unfortunately, one person says one quote, and then they take it out of context of everything that they say, and next thing you know, everyone,
it's news.
Yeah, all of a sudden, everyone assumes like that it's something totally different than what it actually was. So
that's why typically we don't talk about ongoing stories, or if we do talk about ongoing stories, we give it a little asterisk.
We'll hit the major points,
right? So this
we'll
one
hit the major points,
then
we'll come back to it.
Yeah, exactly. So for the most part, it got wrapped up. It's interesting though, nonetheless, because we're seeing major shifts in all the big threes moves. So maybe we'll see something from Sony soon. That would be cool.
Yeah. Turtle Rock announces a new game, Back for Blood. So Just in case you guys didn't know, Turtle Rock is also the name of a Zelda dungeon, and that's just whenever I hear Turtle Rock, that's what I think of. Back 4 Blood is a co-op FPS zombie game. The studio is known for creating. They were licensed out to create Left 4 Dead for Valve and Evolve for 2K. The game is being published by WB Games. And is an new original IP and currently has no release window, as the team stated. It is in its early development. I would like to point out that the title Back 4 Blood is in the same font style as Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, it is.
So
people
it might be owned by. Yeah, we don't know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. They just
You're good.
People have wanted them to make Left 4 Dead 3 for so long because Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 were so wildly popular. And they came at the time, Left 4 Dead 2 came out, and then Steam kind of came out like right after that, or within a year or two time span, from what I recall. And that's what really like killed Left 4 Dead, is just Valve starting Steam up and just making asinine amounts of money. So it's good to see them get back to...
Yeah, they don't need to make games.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm glad they're getting back to where, they seem to be most comfortable. Because Left 4 Dead is really good. Evolve in its premise was very good, but I think it was more like it should have been a mode instead of a whole game. You know what I mean? Did you ever play Evolve? Okay. It was one of those it was one of the first games as a service kind of things. You know what I mean? It came out right after Destiny, I think, or around that time frame. Yeah, well, that was before we even called it that. But yeah, the problem with Evolve was what was supposed to be like that, but it just it didn't have enough meat on its bones. Destiny has enough meat on its bones, or at least it gives you the facade for the most part that there's enough stuff to do. You feel like
Are you kidding me?
Shit to do.
Ever since this recent update, there is so much to do.
That's what I keep hearing.
There is so much to do. I love it. And there are options to leveling up. I didn't do the raid that launched with Forsaken, the Forsaken expansion. And I still got to max light. Never did it once.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff to do.
Real quick, just to branch off of that, I saw that they have a branching tree narrative in the new update, and that it actually could affect the story in the future. I don't know how true that is. I saw the screenshots.
A branching tree.
With the
No. It's an allegiance quest, and the only thing it does is just change the reward that you get at the end of the quest. No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing
the drifter.
It's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing story.
Okay.
Really story related.
Okay. I was just curious because I saw it and I was like, I mean, if it is what people are making it out to be, that would be very interesting. But I figured it was one of those illusion of choice things.
Yeah. No, not so. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, this was a very short episode for us. We just didn't really find a lot of stuff worth. Yeah, we didn't find a lot of stuff worth talking about, and the stuff that was worth talking about had already been beaten to death with a horse, or beaten.
Was like a horse beaten to death.
Well, no, I took a horse and beat someone to death with the horse.
Oh, wonderful.
That was yeah. So anyway, so that's going to be it for us this week. Sorry if you were expecting a longer video. Capping this out, it looks like well, after editing, it's going to change. So
yeah, it'll probably be about
shorter.
17 minutes, something like that.
So, geez Louise. But anyway, try and check us out at least once a week. That's how often we try and do this. And we are going to get out of here. I'm Ambassador Chris, and I do know how to talk.
And I am Ambassador Michael, and it's your turn to have a stroke.
And we'll see you next. It's my turn. All right. I'm stroking out. Bye.
All right. Goodbye, friends.